What does it mean for Courtland Sutton with the Broncos adding a new wide receiver? This is your Denver Sports Daily for March 28th. Let's go.
Taking you through your morning headlines, it's Denver Sports Daily with Rachel Vigil.
Josh Reynolds will be suiting up to play in Denver. The wide receiver has agreed to terms on a 2-year contract with the Broncos. The NFL Network reports other sources are saying that the deal is worth to as much as $14 million. Reynolds, who is entering his 8th season in the NFL, totaled 40 receptions for 608 yards and 5 touchdowns last season with the Detroit Lions. Sources also confirm the Broncos will be among several teams having assigned visits with LSU's quarterback prospects Jalen Daniels following his pro day visit. Daniels will also meet with the Las Vegas Raiders, Minnesota Vikings, New England Patriots, New York Giants, and Washington Commanders. They're also planning to attend the pro days for Drake May and Michael Penix today. Sean Payton indicated this week at the NFL meetings in Orlando that they've held private workouts and have been represented at pro days for all top prospects, not just quarterbacks. Interesting to see what this is going to mean for Jalen Daniels. I'm totally in for it if they can somehow make their way into the top 3. I'm not anticipating that, and neither is some of the ESPN's latest mock draft. So the Denver Broncos are making a big trade in the latest mock draft, and 2 days after head coach Sean Payton said it's realistic for the team to move up in next month's draft. ESPN's Matt Miller is projecting that as a reality, essentially. So Miller has the Broncos trading with the Arizona Cardinals to get the number 12 overall pick up to number 4 overall. He sees Caleb Williams going to the Bears, Jaden Daniels second to the Commanders, and Drake May third to the Vikings. And then Miller predicts Minnesota and New England will do a deal, leaving the Broncos to negotiate with the Cardinals, which ultimately leads them with none other than the quarterback we've talked about almost every single day, J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. How would you feel if the Broncos move up, and what are you willing to allow them to trade to move into that number 4 spot? That's the question I have for all of you in the comments today. Are you okay if they give up the next 3 first-round picks for the Broncos? Are you okay if they trade Pat Surtain? What will it take for the Broncos to move up to number 4, and what are you okay with Broncos country for them to do so? Moving on to the Denver Nuggets. They were taking on the Suns last night. They played the Suns earlier in the month of March, ended up losing to them, and they fall again last night. This was no Jamal Murray, his 3rd game he's missed, in a lineup we have never seen before. We saw Reggie Jackson out on the floor with Justin Holiday, Julian Strawther, Christian Brown, and Peyton Watson. Jake Shapiro was down there last night and gives us a little recap on the game.
Out here at Ball Arena, Jake Shapiro for Denver Sports. The Denver Nuggets lost a little bit earlier tonight. Here to the Phoenix Suns, Kevin Durant had a really, really good game. Of course, he's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Blocks, rebounds, points, he did it all. The Denver Nuggets actually did a good job defensively in this game, especially on Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, but they couldn't really hit open shots, and they got out-rebounded by 13. Tonight was a good example of them prioritizing rest down the stretch instead of going all out for the 1 seed. They had a chance to go up a full game in the West. Oklahoma City lost a little earlier tonight as well. But instead, Aaron Gordon's not playing backup 5 minutes in a game where DJ doesn't play and Zeke isn't available. And Jamal Murray rests for knee inflammation again. And hopefully these guys are all ready to go on Friday for the Nuggets. A big game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, which could decide quite a lot in the West in terms of seeding. But I wouldn't read too much into tonight's game, even though it was the first time that the Nuggets truly lost since the All-Star break. They lost on a buzzer beater in Dallas, and they lost in overtime on this court to Phoenix a little bit earlier this month. This is the first time they actually got beat like that. So does it mean anything? No, it's March NBA basketball, but the Suns will be riding high. It was the first time their big 3 played against Denver. No Yusuf Nurkic. So someone might point back to this game, but I'm telling you, Nuggets fans, you shouldn't be worried about this. They're 15-3 since the break, and 2 of their losses came against the Suns. They went 16-4 in the postseason last year. 2 of the losses came against the Suns. Jamal Murray didn't play tonight. Not that big a deal. Anyway, Jake Shapiro, Denver Sports.
Now, some of the other news that came out of last night, which is something we had actually talked about earlier on in Denver Sports Daily this week, was the NBA is investigating Jontay Porter for gambling. The Toronto Raptors removed the center from their lineup before their game on Monday night. He's being investigated due to an abnormal amount of prop bets placed on him on multiple different nights, including points, rebounds, assists, and three-pointers. Jontay Porter is Michael Porter Jr.'s brother and has appeared in 26 games this season for the Raptors. Now, Michael Porter Jr. did decline to speak to the media post-game on Monday, but answered some questions last night. Take a listen.
I understand if you don't want to comment, but is there anything you want to say about Jontay's situation?
Not necessarily anything I want to say, no. I mean, I know what you guys know. I know Jontay loves the game of basketball. He's really excited to play. He's been really excited to play with the Raptors. I know just as much as you guys know at this point. I know that I've known my brother my whole life. I know what type of dude he is, and I know he's excited to play basketball, and I highly doubt he would do anything to put that in jeopardy.
Is it hard, Michael, to avoid just the omnipresence of gambling everywhere between timeouts? It's on every scoreboards. There's sporting books in actual arenas. Is it hard for you as players to avoid it? Do you hear it from fans? Do you?
Yeah, especially the last few years, you hear more. People in the crowd saying what they need you to score tonight, or what they don't want you to score. Every night you're disappointing someone. You're disappointing the people if you score too much because they may have bet on you under, and you're disappointing people if you didn't score enough. So it's part of the game now. I think that it's obviously a dangerous habit. It's a dangerous vice for people. I think the love of money is the root of all evil. So I think that even though it is a thing, we as players just have to accept that. I don't think we should. We get paid a lot of money to play this game, and I know the people, these fans, they want to make some money as well. So if they want to put their hard earnings on us, we appreciate that you put your trust in us, I guess. But it's definitely something that is kind of taking over the sports world. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. So that's probably my comments on it.
The Colorado Avalanche play tonight, a big matchup against the New York Rangers, who are 48-20-4. Obviously, the Avalanche sit at 46-21-5. That is a 7 p.m. Mountain Time puck drop. And also, the Avalanche, if things go their way, they can, in fact, clinch the playoffs this season. If they defeat the Rangers in any fashion and the Blues lose to the Flames in any fashion, or if they get 1 point versus the Rangers and both of the following occur, the Wild lose to the Sharks in any fashion, and the Blues lose to the Flames in regulation. Of course, we're hoping we're going to be talking about the Avs clinching the playoffs tomorrow with that game, but definitely going to be an interesting one. And the Colorado Rockies, it is officially opening day. They will be taking on the Diamondbacks for a 4-game series tonight, 8:10 Mountain Time PM. Make sure you tune into that one. It's hard to believe that opening day is already here. And then last but not least, shared at 12:30 a.m. The Rockies say that you can now watch on Comcast/Xfinity via cable channel number 1262, and Fubo, a streaming service, and on DirecTV channel 683, and Spectrum will carry as well. But on a major note, the station is not available on Dish Network. The news comes in addition to what was already known about the standalone in-market streaming dubbed Rockies TV. So yes, you can in fact watch your Colorado Rockies this season. I'm glad they were able to get it done. Now, of course, it is opening day around the entire league, and the Atlanta Braves and Philadelphia Phillies opening day has already been rescheduled. The game was originally scheduled for today, but has now been pushed to Friday, March 29th. Heavy rain is expected in the weather forecast for Thursday. The New York Mets home opener against Milwaukee Brewers has also been rained out. Now, longtime ESPN SportsCenter anchor John Anderson announces that he is retiring for SportsCenter at the end of June of 2024. John will step away from his anchor role after 25 years with ESPN, a face we are all so familiar with. We wish him the best come June in his retirement. Then last one for you. This is always just one of those fun stories that I'm like, oh, didn't expect this one to pop up on my timeline. The Nashville Predators were scheduled to have a team trip to see U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas. But just before the trip, they lost a home game 9-2. As a result of their poor play, Coach Barry Trotz canceled the trip. He said, just as a team, you have to earn the right. It's a big expense. And we said, no, it's not acceptable, and made a decision to come back. Funny thing happened after that cancellation, though. The Predators have gone 16-0-2 in their 18 games since not going to see U2. It's also the longest point streak in franchise history. Take away the fun stuff, looks like things start to change. So I love that story. I think it's just kind of one of those fun, interesting ones. Something to just kind of be able to go tell your coworkers about. I always love answering any of your guys' questions or comments down here, and I see a lot of people. First of all, good morning to everybody. I love hanging out with you, so thank you so much. Good morning, Rachel. Have a blessed day. I appreciate it. Would I trade 3 number 1s and PS2 for number 4 for JJ? Paul goes on to say, no. And I don't blame you. I understand. I also see somebody says, we need a quarterback. What don't people understand? We do need a quarterback, but the Broncos need the right quarterback. And it can be such a gamble to essentially give away so many first round picks. Look at what they did. They gambled with Russell Wilson in a sense, and it obviously didn't work out. They gave away 2 first round picks for Russell Wilson, and now none of that matters. So I do get what people are saying about we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback. And I do think that you can give up a little bit. But to have 3 first round picks, you are putting so much into this quarterback. I just don't know how I feel about it. To trade PS2, I know the Broncos want to keep him for sure. So definitely, I don't know. It's such a hard, fine battle, and I totally get both sides of everybody being like, no, we need it, or no, we can't give up that much for it. So trust me, I do. We need to rebuild a lot of this team and cannot do that if you keep giving away first-round picks, kind of to the point that I just made. I won't pay that much to see a minor league baseball team on TV, talking about the Colorado Rockies, who are in fact a major league baseball team, but I get the point you're making of nothing has changed for the Colorado Rockies. They haven't improved their play. They haven't fired their manager to give anybody a little sense of hope of any change that is coming. But luckily, we have a beautiful ballpark here in the Mile High City at Coors Field. We'll be down there for opening day next week. So yeah, trust me, I definitely get it, everybody. It's frustrating time and time again when it comes to the Colorado Rockies, but at least you can go out to a beautiful ballpark, get a lemonade or get a hot dog, etc. Last one we will read today. The line in the same for me is trading PS2. I would stay at 12 or trade back depending on the situation. So many people are in on PS2, and I get it. He is a fantastic player, but I am much more willing to trade PS2 and essentially not give away as many first round picks than I am to give away the future when it comes to those first round picks and then keep PS2. I know PS2 is a great player, but to have a cornerback, that is a luxury. To have an elite cornerback is a luxury, and I get it. You traded away Justin Simmons as your safety, so you're like, well, we need a little bit more down there. PS2 is great, but you also need to look ahead to the future and keep those first-round draft picks. So I'm saying buy PS2. I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you can go to a winning team before I'm giving away 3 first-round draft picks. So plenty of good stuff on this Thursday. Have a great day, Rachel. Thank you guys so much for hanging with me every single day. Come hang out with myself, Jake Shapiro. We're talking about plenty going on in Colorado sports at Coffee Break, 12 p.m. We'll see you guys then. Get back to work, everybody. Bye.